Mojo Jojo here, bringing you a brand new video. This is going to be a video on how to improve your game battles record, and I'm going to do competitive tips. Tip number one is spend more time improving rather than trying to find sponsors on Twitter. You may actually get somewheres in life. Tip number two, scared money don't make money. That means you have to be willing to invest a lot of money into the pursuit of a pro status. So that means you need to spend money on Astros, Scuff, tournaments, wagers, things like that, computers for live streaming to get your name out there. Tip number three, dedicate yourself to a team for at least 3 months. Instead of disbanding and raging after one loss, it builds character, which that means if you start going on a losing streak, you get on like a 10 losing streak, you shouldn't just disband the team. You got to keep playing and playing and playing, and it's going to build your character up. And tip number four, you want to study a pro gamer that shares the same role as you. Focus on the mini-maps, covered lanes, and adapt to your own play style. So, if you're an OBJ player, for example, watch TP, because he's an OBJ player. Things like that. Like if you're a Slayer, watch Crim6 or Formal. They're Slayers. Even Parasite. Tip number five, accept arrows on GBs that are pointing up instead of scrub hunting, because it's not going to make you better if you just go after people that their arrows are pointing down, because obviously you should be able to beat them. You want to play higher kids and better kids. Tip number six, success isn't found in your comfort zone. Be ready to make in-game adjustments and switch roles mid-game. It is crucial. So let's say your bomb carrier dies. You gotta pick up bomb and play that OBJ role for at least that round, if that makes sense. Tip number seven, team schedule. Grind as much as you can with your team. Create a detailed team schedule and having a meeting once a week. So that's basically saying you want to try to be all on the same time so you guys can play and improve. Tip number 8, confidence. Let your thumbs think that you are the best in the game, but never let your mouth carry the same tone. Which that's saying is, if you want to be the best in the game, make your thumbs do the talking instead of your mouth. If that makes perfect sense. The next tip is pick your fights. Don't be reckless. Think intelligently before you challenge, or it could cost your team. So that's basically saying if you know you can't win the gunfight, like let's say he's on a head glitch far away and he has a BAL and you have an ASM1, there's no way you should challenge that. And if you do, and you're reckless, that could cost you guys the lose or the round. Practice makes perfect. Everyone needs work. Find and grind scrims daily to improve team strats and chemistry. You want your chemistry as high as you can, and you want your team strats to work. Next tip, the blame game. Mid-game or post-game or before the game, you don't point fingers at your teammates. Understand that you win as a team and you lose as a team. So if you guys lose because someone, let's say your teammate didn't plant the bomb when he should have, and then he's in the middle of planting and he dies, it's not his fault. He thought he was doing something better, and you just don't want to point fingers at him because that's going to make you guys lose composure and end up losing anyways. Shadow tactics. Slowly practice new strats and create realistic situations in private match with your team. So if your teammate's not that good at clutching, maybe do a 1v3 and see if you can clutch it, or like put them in situations, like make situations like have bomb down, like you plant bomb and then you tell him to go, and then he has to figure out how to get the bomb defuse and clutch up. Next tip, time off. You want to allow yourself some time away from the game to clear your head and enjoy life. Remember, it is just a game. Next tip, weekly meetings. Come together as a team for an hour or less each week to discuss strats or straighten problems up. So like, if a strat that you see that is like not doing so good, you want to try to adjust to make it better. And you want to discuss problems so you don't have conflict in the game. You want to find a mentor. Look for someone that can help you, not just coach your team, but help you improve as individuals. So that's basically saying that you gotta improve to get better. Next tip, callouts. The moment you die, refrain from bitching about how you did. Let your team make plays and move forward to make progress. Next tip, network. Head to local LANs and meet gamers who are as devoted to competing at higher levels someday as you are. Now, this is an S&D tip. You want to plant the bomb. This increases the anxiety on the opposing team due to the added psychological pressure of defusing in time. Next tip is speak up. You want to be vocal about every move you make or lane you watch, so your teammate closest to you can fill in the gaps that are not being watched. So that's basically saying, like, if you're watching mid-cut in solar, but you're not watching the underground tunnel, you could have your teammate watch that underground for you, so you don't get killed from behind. Next tip, you want to use your head. Most people only think about what's in front of them. You need to be 10 steps ahead of your opponents to win, which is pretty good. Competitive tip. Next competitive tip, let go your ego. If you're not the best, don't speak like one. Be humble in victory as you would defeat, period. So if you win, yes, it's a great feeling, but don't let that make you play the next game and you guys are so over cocky that you guys end up losing. Next tip, class consistency. Use the same classes you would in competitive as you would in public matches. You keep a hot shot and familiarize yourself, which that's basically saying is you want to use the same classes as you would used in competitive. It makes you better and it keep your shot warmed up. Next tip, 40 shades of spray. Try to control fire rates from varying ranges. This conserves ammo and helps increase accuracy. So like if he's across the map, you don't want to just spray at him, maybe try to burst your shots. Next tip, cut it out. This is a CTF tip, so it's called cut it out, and it means in Capture the Flag is all about slaying cuts and working mid-maps to assist flag pulls and prevent counter/offensives. So basically, if someone pulls it, let's say on retreat, and they pull it pull side, you want to try to get that mid-tower room or that mid-cut, the mid-hard point. In courtyard, you want to try to get that cut and slay them out so they can't either OE and pull it, or they won't kill your flag carrier and prevent problems. Next tip, 20-second rule. When the hardpoint clock hits 20 seconds, one person should be rotating to anchor next hill/spawn. So if you're in a hill on, let's say, retreat and then goes to turtle, at 20 seconds, you want to start rotating. You want to have someone rotate and try to hold this spawn. So if some people start dying out, you'll die next to the next hardpoint, and you can just set up there and let them give the scrap time, and it'll make your chances bigger in winning. Next tip. This is another S&D tip, overthinking. This will surely cause you to underperform. Search is a chess game, but it's more about reacting than thinking. So basically you need to react about what's happening in the game rather than thinking about it. Next competitive tip, role flexibility. If everyone on your team knows how to play every position, it makes in-game adjustments less chaotic. So like in search, let's say someone dies with the bomb, you can pick it up. Even a hard point, if you have one person that's a consistent rotator at like 20 seconds, and then they die out at like 20 seconds, and someone's in the hill, you want to call out who's going to rotate, because that person's going to spawn back at the original hard point than the next hard point. This is another S&D tip, active reading. Constantly think about your map placement, where you think your opposition can be rotating, etc. at all times. So you want to know where your opponents could be rotating from. Next tip, rotating anchors. If teammate dies off a hardpoint hill, last person who spawns up plays anchor. The rest slay hill/cuts. Like I just said a little bit ago, whoever dies, you want them to play as anchor. Next tip, move on. If you lose at all, let it go. Don't bitch at or to your teammates, because negativity will carry into upcoming games. So if you guys lose, figure out what you guys did wrong, try to fix it in the next game, and move on. Next tip, slay and then play OBJ. Don't just run into a hill or try to grab a flag narrow-minded. Play for a kill, then set up as a team. So if you know there's someone in the hill, don't just run into the hill and let them get a 3-piece or a 2-piece. Try to work together and pinch this guy and trade the kill, or just overpower him and kill him, and then you'll have the hill, and then you slay from there and you get the cuts. Next tips. Coordinated pushes flood a hardpoint hill at multiple choke points. This can overwhelm teams and most importantly win games. You want to flood a hill at different points that you can get to the hill, and it's going to put pressure on the other team, and if you get that one kill, someone's going to have to rotate, and you keep pushing, and it's going to flood them out and spawn out. Next tip, parental control. Family may never understand gaming like we do. Mine never did until MLG made it to the X Games. So that's basically saying that, because my parents didn't really think that gaming was really good until they saw it on X Games, like on the X Games website and everything. So that's how big Call of Duty has come. Next tip: if there's a will, make your setup work. This guy I know, he won his 2 Ghostland tournaments, and he didn't even have a headset or a scuff. So basically, if you have a good setup, it should work. Even if you don't have a scuff or Astros or a headset or anything, it should work. Headset and scuff will improve your game, but it's not needed. Make the switch. If you are serious about competing and taking your career to the next level, get an Xbox One, period. That's where all the competing is on Xbox One. Next tip, counter classes. Adjust your classes to suit in-game situation. This is the difference between a big win or an upset. So if you have the guy that's just slaying everyone and you can't counter it, you have to have a class that can counter it. So you can make in-game adjustments. It's crucial. Another S&D tip. Creating time. Unpredictability allows you to become more versatile in-game, giving yourself pockets to open up for big plays. Basically, you want to try to make pockets open. Like if you get a kill, it's going to open up a pocket, and you guys can either push that or try to get bombed down. And you can't watch everything at one time, but you got to try your best to open up pockets for your team. Next tip, come prepared. Take pics and video of your classes with your phone to cut time in half setting up at a LAN event. It makes it so much easier. Next tip, shell shock. If you notice your teammate is getting frustrated, losing gunfights, or not talking mid-game, you got to help them out. You got to tell them, come on man, we need you. You got to boost their confidence up so you guys can pull out the win. Next S&D tip. You should constantly change your approach as a unit and individually every round. Keep opposing team guessing. You always want your other team to guess. You don't want them to know where you're at or predict you, because that's how you win game. You want to predict your opponent. And if you're unpredictable, then you're guaranteed to win a lot more. Next tip, ride the hype. If your team is going off, get loud, get pumped. Trash talk is inevitable, but keep it professional. So yes, it's okay to trash talk, but you got to keep it professional. You don't want to make someone, well, you want to talk, you can talk trash, but you want to keep it professional. You don't want to cuss, just keep cussing at them. You want to make it professional. Next tip, loco for locals. Try to gauge your skill level and gain experience by attending local LANs if your area, if any. If not, try to go to open bracket in a tournament and win. Next tip, recruiting. Search the Gamebattles free agency forum or use Twitter retweeters to find potential teammates and run together as long as you can. Next tip, how to read. Reading stems from your knowledge of the game in maps mode. Watch the pros or study up to learn. You want to watch your pros and get as good as you can. That's all the tips I have for now. Maybe I can think of more tips and get more tips off some people. But other than that, this was a Game Battles singles match, and I was playing against a 7-3 team, and currently I was 3-0 when I played this guy, and he wasn't bad, but he was pretty bad. But it was fun to play against him. But that's all the competitive tips I do have as of right now. You do want to keep your composure, and all those tips will help you to get better in game battles, UMGs, on tournaments and everything. Just keep your composure, follow those tips, and you may be able to get somewhere. That's about it for this video. So I guess until next time, Mojo Jojo is out. See you guys.
Good job. Get ready for the next battle. Switching sides. Good work, team. I'll give Irons the good news.